Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about recent advances. Basically, I'll be discussing in DNB Pediatrics, paper 4, that is the recent advances. First of all, let's discuss why it is important. Then we go into how to prepare for this particular paper, that is the recent advances, from where you might expect some questions. So let's begin. Recently there was May 2024 paper, and many of the students with whom I directly interacted actually said that they did well in first three papers but couldn't do so in the fourth paper. Generally fourth paper is expected to be very tough. It's not going to be easy. So don't think it will be easy. Why recent advances becomes important is it is the decider of your result. So basically you pass or fail if your paper 4 is good or bad. Why I'm saying this? Because in paper 2 and 3 what happens, even if you have not studied, not revised about say iron deficiency anemia, you can still write something about it and score marks. Whereas in paper 4, if they ask a particular recent advanced topic like say emicizumab, you can't write a single word unless you have studied for it. So that's why this preparation for recent advances paper separately becomes more important. Now let's see from where we actually get to know. Basic answer that comes first to our mind is PYQs. So if you open last 4 to 5 years of question paper, both the sessions, October and April session question papers, and you look into paper 4 and you list down all the questions at one point, so you get to know what topics are being in the recent trend, currently hot topics from where we can expect questions. I also went a step ahead and I looked into few medicine question papers of DNB and could collect some of the questions which are relevant to pediatric also. We never know, there can be cross firing between the two subjects, so you can expect questions from there also. Additionally, if you look at the standard journals like Indian Pediatrics, Indian Journal of Pediatrics, recent consensus guidelines that are being published in the current year or a year before that have made a landmark change in the clinical practice. So those questions can be asked as recent advanced questions. Apart from this, any drug that has got FDA approval could be asked as a recent advanced question. Made a change in clinical practice. So that can be asked as a recent advanced question. Just like similar to what the current affairs that the UPSC people prepare. So we need to be aware of the current hot goings in our subject. So from all these sources, I have compiled a set of questions. I think they are around 100 to 110 questions that are more relevant to current October 2024 exam session. And it took me almost 2 to 2.5 months of compilation, first to search from all the sources the questions and then subsequently find relevant answers from the various sources and then cut short them to make it relevant to what is to be appropriate for 5 marks as to easy to remember. So completely compiling and then uploading took a lot of pain and effort for me, but the purpose is only solved if at all you read it, and then you will be able to answer some questions that are asked from these. So actually this recent advances, it mutates your result. Otherwise gone exam can become a pass exam for you if you do this particular preparation well, and you have a couple of weeks left, so it is the good time to start reading for recent advances. I have already uploaded in the course material, and those of you who have subscribed for 8 question papers also, I have uploaded the file, and I'll be keeping the file in that particular course till the end of the October session. So even those students should also benefit from the recent advances so that they score better in the forthcoming exam. Because in today's life, working hard is alone not sufficient. You need to be smart enough to know the direction in which you need to work hard. Searching the internet for hours together to find one answer and then reading it is not hard work. It may be hard work for you, but it's definitely not smart work, because at the same particular time another student will be taking these ready-made answers and then reading them all through at once and then remembering each one of them. So that's what I would like to say before I begin. So here is the recent advances chapter. It is currently 175 pages, and these are the questions. Some of the students were asking me to send the list of these questions for those in the Telegram group, so you can directly take a screenshot of this list. These are the questions being covered in this particular chapter. I'll be discussing a few questions which are relevant and very important from the current exam point of view. One thing they will always ask is the newer diagnostic tests or newer drug regimens in the tuberculosis. So let's dive into it. So what all newer tests have been discussed: IGRA, CBNAT, and drug susceptibility testing and advances in that next generation sequencing. All this you need to discuss. And XDR-TB using the BPAL regime also could be asked. So I made a compilation of the new regime BPAL. Advances in the management of cystic fibrosis. This is a repeat question. So it has been asked in the recent past. And what are all the advances that have happened in the diagnosis as well as in the management aspect has been discussed. Two very important questions that can be asked even in the paper 1 and paper 4 are this EVIN, that is Electronic Vaccine Intelligence Network. So the name sounds very hi-fi, but it's actually a technological solution designed to address the logistic challenges of the vaccine supply chain in India, and this is managed and launched by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So you need to know about this. Another such important question is the Khushi baby necklace. This Khushi baby necklace is actually a innovative health technology. It is This particular necklace is a wearable device and it has a chip in it which maintains the health record and the vaccination record of that particular child. So you need to know the in and out of this particular newer advance and where it is used. The NFC chip, the near field communication chip which I was discussing, the design and the data integration and how it is implemented in the field level, all this has been discussed. I have also discussed few of the emerging infections. Recently we had outbreak of Nipah virus, so the Nipah virus infections has been discussed, and swimming pool meningoencephalitis outbreak happened in Kerala. So the differential diagnosis and the overall management has been discussed. Monkeypox, another hot question in the upcoming exam. You can expect monkeypox. So the surveillance, primary symptoms, the rash progression, and the treatment protocol. The AIMS has updated the recent protocol for the monkeypox that has been summarized and put here. Again, the recent advances in National Tuberculosis Elimination Program has been summarized. So this is just an overview I am giving. So you need to read about each answer. And other questions may include mechanisms of antimicrobial resistance and the emergence of drug resistant strains. So these are the various mechanisms through which the pathogens develop resistance and how to overcome them, that has been discussed. Some of the recent drugs like emicizumab or the drugs used in SMA, they have been discussed. Nephrotic syndrome has been a hot topic. So recent advances in nephrotic syndrome also has been included in one of the questions. So, and recent guidelines were published about vesicuretic reflex in Indian Pediatrics. So, management of primary VUR, the non-surgical as well as the surgical part has been discussed. Along with that, the evaluation of the UTI has been revised. So, the colony count newer guidelines have come up. So, these things are actually published in VUR guidelines 2023. So, it's better to go through these guidelines once. ECMO was asked in June 2022 and has a potential to be asked again. Another potential question is about oral colistin, because in the last May 2024 session, oral imipenem and antibiotic resistance was asked. This is another question. And lastly, not to forget the various severity scores used in the PICU. This is an old question, but it's an evergreen question because every now and then a new score gets validated and people do test it clinically and publish their findings. So all the clinical scorings used in PICU are being summarized in one table. So this you need to go through. I hope this will give a brief idea about the preparation of recent advances. The intention is not to discuss each and every question in detail here. This is just to give you an overview of how to start preparing for the recent advances. Many students tend to neglect it and that changes their result. So my humble request to all of you, those who are appearing for the theory exam now, is to give importance to this particular section of the topic. Thank you.